Okay, let's dive right into this. Have you ever wondered what the absolute extremes of human travel actually look like? In today's explainer, we're unpacking a really fascinating social experiment that contrasts the sheer white knuckle terror of a $1 flight with the mind boggling, unimaginable luxury of a $500,000 flying mansion. We are going to see exactly what money buys you in the sky, step by step. And trust me, the way aviation luxury scales up is absolutely wild. So here is our flight plan for today. We're going to start with the $1 flight, then we're upgrading to first class, stepping up to private, taking a fun little detour for a custom blimp experience, and finally boarding that $500,000 jet. Section 1. The $1 flight. Literally one single dollar. You are paying less for an aviation experience than you would for a mediocre cup of coffee. Now, as you can probably guess, at this price point, you are definitely not paying for comfort. In fact, this incredibly rickety aircraft sounds suspiciously like a lawnmower engine. The focus here isn't a smooth ride or a complimentary beverage or legroom. It is basically just utilitarian survival. Honestly, nothing captures the reality of this bottom tier better than this gem from Doug the pilot. When he's asked what he's doing while the wind is just whooshing through the cabin and the metal is clanking, his response is essentially that he's just trying to keep everyone alive. It's hilarious, but it's such a stark juxtaposition between the terrifying, bare-bones experience of ultra-cheap flying and the crazy luxury we are about to see as we climb up this ladder.
Section 2. Upgrading to first class.
When you pay 1,000 times more for a ticket, the amenities change drastically. A $1,000 commercial flight gets you your own personal seat and TV, a decent meal, a free little bag of toiletries and pajamas, and a seat that fully reclines into a bed. Now, it might feel a little bit like you're comfortably tucked away in a tiny coffin, but it's a bed. The major limitation here, though, is the absolute lack of privacy. Even though you're in first class, you are still sharing the cabin space with plenty of people walking right past you while you sleep. But what happens when we multiplied that price tag by 10? Let's jump up to the $10,000 commercial flight. For 10 grand, you aren't just getting unlimited legroom and gourmet food. You are getting access to a private lounge and, incredibly, a fully functioning hot shower at 30,000 feet in the air. It's absolutely wild to think about the plumbing gymnastics required to make a shower work on a commercial airliner. But hey, at this price tier, that is exactly the kind of premium comfort you're paying for. Section 3. Stepping up to private. Let's do a direct comparison here, because this is where the rules of money and logic start to bend a little bit. That $10,000 commercial flight gave us a full shower and heated floors, right? But the $25,000 private flight actually downgrades the bathroom. There's no shower, and it's literally half the size. Instead, all that extra money goes toward extreme privacy and massive square footage, including space to do jumping jacks and a real queen-size bed. So I'll let you decide. Which one of these actually offers the better value? Let's just completely reset our expectations as we hit the six-figure mark, the $100,000 private jet. At this astronomical price point, you aren't just getting a private room. You're getting an entire plane with 4 separate rooms all to yourself. Honestly, it feels way more like a flying luxury hotel or maybe a yacht than an actual airplane. But even with all that money, things can still go hilariously wrong. There's this brilliantly funny moment where a passenger named Nolan actually gets stuck inside the private jet's bathroom. And meanwhile, the rest of the group didn't even realize they were taking off, and they were doing it backwards. It's just a great reminder that no matter how luxurious the setting is, with all the multiple bedrooms and huge TVs, human error and unexpected turbulence are still very real things at 100 grand. Section 4. The custom blimp experience. So what do you do when you want an aviation experience that costs as much as a nice house but moves incredibly slowly? Well, you rent a blimp. This $300,000 stunt involved paying 6 figures just to wrap the massive aircraft. And to fund this absolute absurdity, they actually used it as a mobile office to interview business candidates mid-air via ZipRecruiter, all while slowly floating over a crowd of 150,000 people at the Daytona 500. And out of all the incredibly profound messages they could have chosen to broadcast to those 150,000 racing fans, they went with, "I love Carl's mom." It perfectly demonstrates what extreme wealth can be used for when logic completely goes out the window. It's incredibly elaborate, highly visible, and an absurdly expensive joke. Essentially, a $300,000 flying punchline. Section 5. the $500,000 jet. And here is our absolute peak, $500,000 for one single flight. This is literally the most expensive private plane ticket on the planet. Let's really try to wrap our heads around what that kind of crazy money actually buys you up in the clouds. Just tracking the sheer volume of absurd amenities makes it super clear that this is basically a flying mansion. I mean, look at these details. The flooring alone is a $2 million carpet, so yes, you are heavily encouraged to take your shoes off. The bathrooms feature actual gold-plated sinks and multiple showers. For entertainment, you've got a private theater room, a lounge that seats 12, and literal in-flight massages. And the scale? This aircraft has more square footage than a standard house, complete with a massive living room, multiple master bedrooms, and a dedicated crew area. The level of elite, ruthless standards here is perfectly summed up by this funny little anecdote. When one of the passengers pointed out that there was standard gas station quality chocolate on board, the flight attendant literally threw it away to replace it with a premium brand. It just shows you that when you are paying $500,000, absolutely nothing average is allowed to remain on board. Every single detail must be the absolute best. But honestly, the ultimate surprise of this massive expenditure wasn't just the jet itself. Regular, everyday fans were actually brought onto this aircraft. They got treated to this unbelievable business elite experience, culminating in an all-expense-paid vacation to Disney World. It's such a fantastic twist that shares this unimaginable wealth with people who would otherwise never get to experience a gold-plated sink at 40,000 feet. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. We've scaled the incredible heights from a terrifying $1 lawnmower plane all the way up to a $500,000 flying mansion. So it really makes you wonder, if you somehow got a ticket for a $500,000 flight, what insane amenity would you demand? Think about it, because as we've seen today, when it comes to extreme luxury aviation, the sky literally is the limit. Thanks for exploring this with me.